Last Jedi ruined Star Wars. It really did. Luke Skywalker is not real. This isn't the real Luke Skywalker. He is a lonely old man. He's not the friendly hero that we all know he is. No, that's not the case. Because of that, the whole movie's terrible. It ruined Star Wars. Star Wars is ruined forever. Have you heard that before? Probably have. In the 2 years that Last Jedi has been out, it's just, that's all you hear. Star Wars is ruined. But, is it? The answer to that is of course it isn't, because if it was, then why would Star Wars stuff still be going on? Episode 9 would have been cancelled. The new Star Wars EA games would be cancelled. Everything about Star Wars would end if that was the case. But you may be saying, oh, it is ruined. Last Jedi was a horrible movie. And no, because you're not the first person to ever say a Star Wars movie is bad. You are not the first person to say that Star Wars is ruined. I swear to you that you are not. And if you think you are, then that is not true at all. Because let me tell you a little story. A long time ago, in a place far, far away, these couple movies called the prequels, they came out, and people hated them. You may have been too young. I was as well. You were too young to understand, but general public hated these movies. And from my point of view, when I was young, it was engraved into my mind that the prequels were bad and the original trilogy was good. Now that wasn't from my parents, that was just from the general public. From The Simpsons, all the major cartoon shows at the time, media, they all said the prequels are bad. Crappy dialogue, the overuse of CGI. They said it ruined Star Wars. Well, look what happened a couple years later with the Clone Wars. People said that ruined Star Wars, which it didn't, because then people actually liked the show then a couple years later, when it was still premiering episodes. Same exact thing with Rebels. People said it was bad, but then as time moves on, people enjoyed it. The same thing as the Clone Wars. Look where we are today. Same thing people are saying nowadays. The Star Wars is ruined. Even with Solo, look at Solo. So people either say, oh, this ruined Star Wars, or you're just being a dead horse at this point, which neither of those things are true. Solo, if you watched it, which you probably didn't, is a fine movie. It's not spectacular, but it's a fine movie. I'm not saying it didn't ruin Star Wars. It's trying to bring back Star Wars, I feel like, with its little adventure that it did in the movie. And alright, you may be saying, oh, that's fine. There's a couple things that people said ruined Star Wars. Well, there's a couple more, which I didn't mention for purpose reasons. They're kind of the two important ones. The ones that really scratch your head. People said Return of the Jedi ruined Star Wars because of Ewoks. Yeah, Ewoks ruined Star Wars. You may be saying, it didn't. That's what people said back in 1983 or the late 80s. People were like, oh, the first two Star Wars movies were fantastic. But Return of the Jedi, I feel like it was a kid's movie. Well, I mean, Star Wars is a kid's film, but Ewoks are there to entertain the children, but they did have a purpose in the movie. They stopped the Empire, which nowadays we know that as facts, but people back then weren't too keen on it. And if we go a decade later into the 90s, early 2000s, when the prequels being made, George Lucas decided to remake the originals by adding overabundance of CGI, which people said that ruined Star Wars as well. Star Wars is ruined. Along with the prequels that ruined Star Wars, you also have the original trilogy that is ruined, so Star Wars is ruined as a whole. Well, guess what? 20 years later, we're still here talking about Star Wars. So Star Wars isn't ruined, and I'm pretty sure 20 years from now, Star Wars isn't still in ruins. It is still alive. So everyone that says that Star Wars is ruined, it's not. Just because you don't like a movie that doesn't satisfy you, it's not ruined. People have been saying Star Wars has been ruined since 1983. So stop. Even though you won't. It's just gonna keep on going with the cycle. It's never gonna end. I'm trying to stop the cycle. The next movie that's gonna come out after Episode 9 you're gonna say it's gonna ruin it. I bet you someone's gonna say episode 9 even is gonna ruin Star Wars. Or ruin Star Wars. The next movie that comes after episode 9, if it's not the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie and it's just some other random movie, they're gonna say it's gonna ruin Star Wars. Oh, and Rian Johnson's trilogy comes out. The first movie that's gonna come out of that trilogy, people are gonna immediately say it ruins Star Wars. What I'm trying to get at here, I'm trying to say, everyone at some point in the history of the Star Wars, someone has said that Star Wars has been ruined. Well, let me correct you, silly. Star Wars isn't ruined. It's more than alive, even if you don't think so.
Yeah, I confess, Father, I confess.